Hello, this is Crystal Racing with the BAHRAIN Grand Prix Crystal Score race review. And of course, your race winner today, is Lewis Hamilton, who will get 9 points out of 10. All weekend, Mercedes had the slower car. Well, okay, there was sandbagging in practice, but as it turned out to be in qualifying, it was only 2/10 slower. But as it was, the misfortune of the Ferrari number 16 allowed Lewis to win. So I'm going to give him 9 points out of 10 because he did do a very good job in fighting Vettel. And I have to say, even though we got a bit lucky with Vettel spinning, Hamilton really tried his hardest today. And I think he does deserve 9 points, despite, of course, the fact that he did have a bit of a whine towards the end when he said, "Oh no, the downshift feels clunky." Yeah, Lewis, your car is absolutely fine, mate. Don't exaggerate. Second place was Valtteri Bottas, who gets 8 points out of 10. Nowhere near as impressive as he was in Australia. There's not really much for me to say. He didn't get involved in any dramas or troubles, so yeah, just really another Bottas race. And then, of course, in third place is the driver of the day by an absolute country mile, Charles Leclerc. My heart goes out to you. Yes, you are what I see as being the Mary Sue character of Formula 1 right now, because you're so perfect. You never overreact. You never make any stupid driving errors like your teammate. You're a perfection personified, young man. You are perfect, and that failure that you had in your car really was quite sad. I mean, so many people were so sad for you. I mean, let's be honest, who the hell hates you? You are perfect. And now going on to fourth place, Max Verstappen. Max gets 9 points out of 10. His Red Bull Honda clearly didn't work very well today around Bahrain or this weekend. There was a bit of controversy earlier on when he made that overtaking manoeuvre on Carlos Sainz, but if you watch the replay, it was an abrupt manoeuvre. It was well within the limits. I mean, I know a lot of people go on about how he should be getting a penalty, but frankly, it was a perfectly legal manoeuvre. Carlos Sainz squeezed him quite dramatically, and quite frankly, Carlos Sainz got what was coming to him. Then, of course, in fifth place is the reject of the day, Mr. Sebastian Vettel, at it again with the most stupid... I am absolutely lost for words at this bloke. Sebastian Vettel, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you anymore. You have to realise, when you were fighting Lewis Hamilton, that type of mistake is exactly why Ferrari brought in Charles Leclerc. It's the reason why you are never going to have Kimi Räikkönen as a teammate ever again. Because frankly, those sort of mistakes are perfectly justified. Why the hell Ferrari do not trust you anymore? And look, yes, I know Matteo Binotto came on the radio and said, "Don't worry about it, Seb, it'll get better soon." It feels like Binotto is saying it just because at this point in time you need to be coddled. You're not really mentally tough enough to last a distance to fight for a championship anymore. And frankly, you only deserve 5 out of 10 because that is just unacceptable. You've had the entire winter to recover from your, last season where you practically made so many mistakes, but yet you've come back and you still haven't snapped out of it. So frankly, I really don't feel sorry for you anymore. Sixth place is Lando Norris, first ever points in Formula 1. 10 out of 10 for his performance. He was just absolutely brilliant today. His overtaking manoeuvres were good. His racecraft was absolutely spot on. I think there was that move when he went into around the outside of turn 3 and overtook Grosjean around there, and it was just absolutely sublime. The kid's he's only 19 years old and he's driving like that. And to be frankly honest, when you consider the fact he held off Kimi Räikkönen towards the end, that is seriously impressive. A former world champion we're talking about. And then, of course, in seventh place is, of course, Kimi Räikkönen, my favourite driver in F1. Yes, Alfa Romeo kind of made this weekend a bit difficult when the water leak on his and Giovinazzi car came out during free practice 2, which was, the only representative practice session due to the fact that, of course, the 2 other practice sessions were done in daytime conditions, was FP2 was done in nighttime conditions, and Alfa Romeo decided to have a water leak. So for Kimi to really, really pull out the stops, to put in such a consistent, strong performance despite a lack of real running, once again proves what a brilliant signing he is for Alfa Romeo. And if you look at the championship, the Constructors' Championship table, Kimi's 10 points has taken Alfa Romeo into 4th place in the championship. Very, very shrewd signing. And you've got to realise Giovinazzi still hasn't scored a point yet. 8th place is Pierre Gasly. Oh dear, Pierre. I really don't want to slag you off, but that's the second race weekend in a row where you were completely anonymous. I mean, once again, you failed to get into Q3. And, of course, when you realise that, Pierre Gasly finished 4th in the Toro Rosso here last year, that is really poor. I mean, that is just really poor. There is no other way for me to say it. 6 out of 10 for the performance today. I don't know how much he's struggling, but it really does look like he is genuinely getting outclassed. And the thing is, a lot of people, including myself, suspected this could happen. We really did suspect that Gasly could look really, really poor in a Red Bull, and it's coming true. I don't want it to be the case, but quite frankly, I can only call it as I see it. 9th place is yet another first-time point scorer in Alex Albon. The British-born Thai driver put in a very solid performance, 10 out of 10. Okay, yes, I think he got held up behind his teammate after the pit stops, but once he got past him, Albon was very, frankly, they put a wheel wrong. His performance went under the radar, and yes, because of the 2 Renaults retiring, yes, it helped him out an awful lot, but credit where credit's due. It's 10 out of 10 for Alex Albon. And of course, the first points for a Thai driver since the 1950s. Of course, back in the 1950s, Prince Bira raced in Formula 1. Very, very long time ago. And 10th and last was 10th and the last point scorer was Sergio Perez once again. His first point of the season, I'll just give him 8 out of 10 because the Racing Point chassis has looked really poor all weekend. And an experienced hand like Sergio did it again. 11th place was Antonio Giovinazzi, 7 out of 10. Slightly better performance this weekend compared to the Australian race where he was just getting up to all sorts of trouble and frankly just looking very, very poor. I'll give him 7 out of 10. At least there's been some improvement, but he needs to do it. But the thing is, though, even though he was only a 10th slower than Kimi in Q1, where Giovinazzi got knocked out, Kimi did have a scruffy lap, hence why he was so close. And Giovinazzi Giovinazzi did actually get involved in an incident where he turfed Kvyat off just around the first pit stops, which I just laughed my head off, really. 12th place for Daniel Kvyat. Did not very good performance, really. The whole Red Bull hierarchy were talking about how a new Danny Kvyat was back, but it looks as if Danny Kvyat is still the same old scruffy, erratic Kvyat. Let's be honest. And now his teammate Alex Albon has got more points than him already in the championship, and it looks like if Kvyat doesn't sort himself out, this is going to be the last time we'll ever see Daniel Kvyat in Formula 1, and I'm a bit worried to say the least. 13th place was Kevin Magnussen, 6 out of 10. Qualified really well. Qualified in 6th place, outpacing Grosjean once again. But unfortunately, Kevin Magnussen suffered a tap at the rear by Kimi Räikkönen. I can't. And then after that, he just struggled so much. His tyre conservation was terrible. It just the car balance just went out the window, and really, I can't say much more. Just became completely anonymous. 14th place was Lance Stroll. Do I remember any? Oh yeah, he did do something. Despite the fact that I rated his performance 5 out of 10. He did manage to unlap himself from Max Verstappen, but I think that's probably more to do with the Stroll turning of his Mercedes power unit and Max, having a Honda power unit that was not working at the time. 15th place was George Russell, who, this weekend has been putting in a lot of quick laps despite a lack of spare parts. And I have to say, at one point he did actually get in front of Lance Stroll and Carlos Sainz. I mean, he really pushed the car as far as he could. I was really impressed by him today. Very, very solid performance. I think he deserves 9 points out of 10. Robert Kubica finished down in 16th. I'm going to give him 7 points out of 10. A lot closer to Russell in qualifying for once. Much more consistent pace throughout the long runs today. He looked a lot more like what I think Williams were expecting to be like, and I'm going to give him 7 points because of that. Classified 17th, but did not finish the race was Hulkenberg. Very unlucky with power unit failure that he got with Ricciardo. I'll give Hulkenberg 8 points out of 10 because he did make up 11 places. From his starting spot of 17. I mean, he was running 6th at the time of his retirement, so yeah, I'll give him... Well, should I give him 8 points? Actually, I should give him 9 points. I'm going to give him 9 points because he really was running very well until he retired. Then, of course, 18th place was Daniel Ricciardo. Qualified at 11th. Oh dear, he really, really struggled in the race today, and I have to say he got passed by Hulkenberg very quickly early on, and then Ricciardo later on in the race, when he did get back into the points, then had an incident when he tapped wheels of his teammate, and it looked really desperate, and it looked like the act of a man who's actually struggling against Hulkenberg, which is quite frankly really poor considering how much money Daniel Ricciardo's getting paid, so I'm going to have to give him 7 points out of 10. Really not good enough. When you consider he's getting paid like 7 or 8 times more money than Nico Hulkenberg, that is really poor. 19th place was Carlos Sainz. I'm going to give him 6 points out of 10. Frankly, I know of course he got his race ruined by that collision with Max Verstappen, but Carlos Sainz was really tried to squeeze Max Verstappen too much when he was defending into turn 3. I don't know what he was trying to do, but frankly, when he got that damage on his car, it really was his fault. It was not a clever defensive manoeuvre whatsoever. But at least he didn't embarrass himself like a certain German driver driving for Ferrari today. I'll give him that. And Romain Grosjean was officially the only retiree of the race, and he retired very early on. So I will not score Grosjean a crystal score rating because it would be completely unfair on him. He did nothing wrong as I know. So if you enjoyed listening to this Bahrain Grand Prix review from Crystal Racing here, please like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.